Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Donald Trump is not joking when he says he'd like to make Canada the 51st state. Eric Viano joins us live in studio with more on this story. Eric?
Adam, Trudeau spoke to over 100 business leaders who were invited to an economic summit in Toronto. His comments were made behind closed doors after reporters were ushered out of the room. The Toronto Star was able to hear what Trudeau was saying because the audio was inadvertently broadcast.
Canada's free. Canada is sovereign. Canada will choose its own destiny. Canada is forever.
When asked about Trudeau's comments, Labour Minister Stephen McKinnon didn't deny them, saying Canada is united in its pride in being Canadian.
And we will always, always, always stand up for this country.
According to the Toronto Star, Trudeau said he thinks Trump wants Canada's critical minerals, saying, quote, Mr. Trump has it in mind that one of the easiest ways of doing that is absorbing our country, and it is a real thing, before the microphone was eventually cut off.
It's about time we had genuine free trade within Canada.
Speaking to reporters at the summit before the comments about Trump's interest in Canada, Trudeau went over the issues the country faces in its trade relationship with the U.S. He brought up the idea of free interprovincial trade as a solution, saying business leaders have long been wanting this to happen.
This is one of those moments and opportunities where we actually can. There's a window open because of the context we're in. We have to jump through it.
He says all of Canada's premiers are united in wanting to get rid of trade barriers inside the country, but says governments and business leaders need to cooperate to make it work. He also talked about what his government is doing during the 30-day pause of U.S. tariffs, which was announced earlier this week.
It's something we need to use. We need to be very deliberate about how we continue to engage closely with the United States to make the case and demonstrate that Canada is responsible for a tiny part of the North American fentanyl problem, but that we are also bitterly touched by this tragedy. We also want to be part of solving for this.
Trump has said the tariffs are due to migrants and fentanyl coming into the States from Canada. Meanwhile, Ontario's Doug Ford says he has been leading the charge against potential U.S. tariffs. He says the federal government isn't doing enough to secure the border.
The message to the federal government, enough's enough. I don't need to be in a room looking at the people I've talked to 1,000 times. It's been 4 days. The federal government says we're going to get a border czar. That's what the Trump administration wants. What takes 4 days to figure this out?
And new today, Trump indicated he will unveil reciprocal tariffs on other countries next week, but didn't say which ones.